It's very standing room only, we call this. Yeah, that is true.
Is this on?
See what happens?
That looks good.
Yeah.
Everybody ready?
Yeah, it's unmuted.
Good evening, everyone. Time is now 6 o'clock, Monday, January 9th, and this is the work session meeting. Can everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris. Here. Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmember Freeman.
Madam Clerk, adequate notice?
Adequate notice if this meeting is required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by an annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Sentinel, and Desi Talk on December 1st, 2022, and posted in main lobby municipal complex on that same date.
At this time, I'm going to open up for oral petitions and remarks, starting with the list. First, we have Ms. Orchid.
Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson.
You recognize you have the floor.
Thank you. As I requested the previous meeting, if we could get an update to the official list. It's a new year. I was hoping for a New Year's resolution. I am thankful that the Councilwoman Joyce Ship Friedman reactivated the Human Relations Commission. We need to move forward. I remember her asking the lawyer for more members to upgrade the ordinance by adding more members. It's difficult, it's overwhelming, and we are an inclusion and diversified Edison. We need to get trained, and we need to start doing the hard work. There are a lot of issues that we need to work on. I have attended the Metuchen Human Relations and the Woodbridge Human Relations. We need to get started with the Edison Human Relations. I see it listed, I see they're not listed under the boards and commissions, so maybe that's why we're not getting any members. Martin Luther King Jr. Is going to be celebrated this weekend with the various events throughout the town, so I look forward to seeing everyone. Edison Environmental Commission will have their meeting on Thursday, January 19th at 7 p.m. If we could have an update on how the Senior Citizen Center is doing. Please update the Senior Citizen Services page. We have things on there that are like 2 or 3 years old. We need more than 2 locations when there's an emergency. Edison is so big, we only have 2 locations to help everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Orchid. In regards to the senior center, at the last meeting, we had established, I believe it was figured for the end of the month if the BA could advise on.
Sure, we're actually going through final inspections, and then we're going to be doing a cleanup. So yes, your estimate with regard to about when it's complete, I would assume all of this is done by end of next week, and then beginning of the following week, we'll be able to open up the building to the seniors.
Thank you for the update. Next on the list, we have Mr. Bassoff.
Thank you, Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. I noticed in the resolutions that we have some new appointees to the zoning board. So my question is if the council can just share any information about them.
If it's okay, can we wait until we do
that'll be
that at
fine.
during the resolutions
Sure.
portion?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, no.
In the other sections. Yeah, they're in the book, the white. So he can listen to what you guys have
At this point, we're going to go to reports for all council committees. I know that I sent an email out last week in regards to boards and committees that council members are interested in. So please advise as soon as you can. However, from last year, if we have any committee reports, I'll start to my left, Ms. Councilwoman Ship-Freeman. Councilman Patil.
None, sir.
Councilman Patel.
I attended the Open Space Committee yesterday, and, no, sorry. Thursday. And we discussed the bike path. We looked at the bike path, and we updated it with all the members. We have some changes that I submitted to the engineering department. The engineering department advised me that we should hold off on it because they already submitted for grants and such, so they're waiting for that grants to come back before we make any changes. Thank you.
Councilwoman Harris.
None, sir.
Councilman Coyle.
Council President, to the administration, I just wanted to set up a time to meet with the Director of DPW with our committee for the month of January, please. And if it can happen before a work session or before the council meeting would be best for us. Thank you.
Councilman Brescher.
None at this time, sir.
And for myself, the Smart City Advisory Committee is scheduled to meet January 19th. At this time, we'll go to points of light. Anyone from council with any points of light?
Council President?
Yes, Madam, or Vice President Harris.
Today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and I just want to, on behalf of all of us, not just council members, but residents alike, to thank our men and women in blue for all they do to keep us safe. And in fact, just earlier, Lieutenant Doug Turner had taken me for a tour underneath in the bowels, so to speak, of this building. And I'm very impressed by the facilities we have for our police department. So I just want to give a shout out to all of our law enforcement people and thank them again for what they do to keep us safe every day. Thank you.
Any other council members?
Council President,
Yes, Councilwoman Ship-Freeman.
on Sunday at the New Hope Baptist Church, the pastor happens to be an alpha like me, and also Betty Watson Coleman. She's going to be honored on Sunday afternoon, like at 3 o'clock. So anybody can come and support our Congresswoman. That will be there on Sunday at 3 o'clock. That's the prelude to Martin Luther King Day. And then I believe the Recreation Department has one on that Monday. And I remember last time we had poor attendance from our council, so I just hope we do a little better than we did last year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members? Hearing none. On Saturday, January 14th, there will be the Martin Luther King Jr.'s celebration, 1 to 4 p.m. at Mini B Veal. There is an essay contest, which today is the deadline. On Monday, January 16th, Martin Luther King Day, the township offices will be closed. On January 21st, 1 to 4 p.m. at Lake Papiani will be the first Lunar New Year parade. On January 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Clara Barton First Aid Squad, the Edison Human Relations Commission will be hosting a Taste of the Holidays event. The police department is still seeking crossing guards, so if you are interested, please contact Supervisor Ryan Sucks at 732-404-8673. Also, the Edison Township is bringing back the Civilian Police Academy. Registration is open till 4 p.m. on Tuesday, January 17th. Applicants must be over the age of 18, and the township is seeking 25 participants. For more information, email cop@edisonnj.gov. And finally, the Recreation Department is currently has enrollment for several programs. They have STEM programs for grades 1 through 5, coding for children, meditation classes, and yoga for both adult and children. Just want to make sure, any other points of light? Hearing none, at this time we'll go to the agenda. Item 7, from the Business Administrator. A, resolution appointing the Township of Edison Public Agency Compliance Officer. And B, resolution renewing membership in the Central Joint Insurance Fund. Any questions or comments from the council? Oh. I do apologize. I was looking at a previous version. Item B is the resolution authorizing submission of grant from New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for recreational amenities at Ulysses Park. The Central Joint Insurance Fund was pulled from the agenda because we are actually good until 2025 on that one. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Hearing none. Item 8, from the Department of Finance, report of disbursements through January 4th, 2023. B, resolution authorizing refund in the amount of $770,053.46 for redemption of tax sale certificates. And C, resolution authorizing refund caused by successful tax court appeals. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Hearing none. Item 9, from the Department of Planning and Engineering. A, resolution refunding of tree maintenance bonds. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10, from the Department of Public Works. A, resolution refunding of street opening escrows. And B, automotive lubricants to various vendors not to exceed $100,000. Any questions or comments from council members?
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Yes, I'd like to thank Sonia for the automotive lubricants. I know that I always question when we overspend, but she found a way to reduce cost. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. 11, from the Chief of Fire, approval of volunteer firefighter. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 12, from the Township Clerk, resolution to appoint members to the Zoning Board. 5, any questions or comments from my colleagues?
Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President
Yes,
Harris.
in response to Joel Bassoff's questions about the zoning board, so Joe, Councilman Coyle and I, we did the interviews. We went through a lot of interviews, and I think I'm speaking, I think I'm safe in speaking on behalf of Councilman Coyle. We are really excited about the people we're appointing. There are several fresh faces, really enthusiastic people who just want to do good for this town, and so we're really looking forward to this new set of zoning board members. We brought back a few of them, but there are 2 new people that we are bringing on to the zoning board, and we're really proud of these picks.
Council President?
Yes, Councilwoman Ship Freeman.
I was asking, pertaining to the zoning board members, I noticed some of them were from, a couple of new ones were from different places that I didn't understand why they were for the zoning board, but I didn't have the opportunity to interview some of them, and some of them I didn't even see resumes for. So it was very questionable to me about the whole zoning board manner.
Definitely make sure that the resumes are sent over. In regards to well, actually, before I proceed, any other council member questions or comments? In regards to the zoning board members, there are 2 reappointments that are up for resolution. That would be Michael Komba and Krishna Siddha, with another current alternate, Jayesh Patel, seeking from alternate to a membership. In regards to the other 2, which would be new, one for the full board membership would be Angela Hernandez Prince, and as the first alternate would be Kyle Cerrito. Angela has a background in education. She has dual masters, I believe, both from political science and, as I just mentioned, the educational background. In my conversation with her, I felt that she, as Council Vice President Harris mentioned, she just wants to do good. She seems to have a very good head on her shoulders, very astute in terms of the questions her answers to the questions I asked. In regards to Mr. Cerrito, he's a volunteer firefighter. He works in the daycare system, And he's a young kid, a young adult that is looking to get involved in the township and just wants to make a positive impact. My conversation with them, I felt very comfortable with their hopeful appointments, and I look forward to Wednesday.
Council President, isn't one of them a chamber member? The young lady, and Hernandez?
In regards to a member versus a volunteer, I
Oh,
have
okay,
to-
I just was wondering. I just wanted to ask that question about them being a chamber member, because I seen that somewhere on a paper.
I do know that she does have involvement with the chamber at the moment, whether it's a full position or volunteer. I don't recall off the top of my head, but I will absolutely get that clarification for you.
Council President, I believe, and Joe, you can correct me on this, this is a temp position, is it not?
Yeah, yes, correct. She's a professor at a college, and she's temping.
Thank you. And in regards to the potential makeup of the board, I do feel that it is very diverse. It represents all the zip codes. You would have 2 from 08817, 2 from 08837, 3 from 08820, which because there are 7 members, there's going to be an odd zip code out. So I do hope to have the support of my council colleagues in regards to these appointments, and I hope that addresses the question that you had earlier posed, Mr. Bassoff. Thank you.
Council President, he's out of order.
I do apologize, and next time I'll be more astute in regards to answering the question earlier, so I apologize in that regard. Item number 13, or just to make sure, any other questions or comments in regards to the township clerk items? Hearing none, item 13 from the council member of the planning board. There was no meeting since the last meeting, and we are working on who the council liaison will be for the planning board. Item number 14, discussion items. I'll start to my right, Councilman Brescher.
I'd like to thank our counselor for getting me the bills. I haven't looked at them, so I don't know what's in here, but there's definitely paper in here, so I appreciate that. I'm going to call these the zoning board members over the next day or so to see, where they are. I guess you said when you said young, like, is that like young living with their parents at home? Or they have their own places, right? They're paying taxes?
Yes.
Okay. I can't tell by looking at the resume where
Point of
they're
order, Council President, I don't think age is a requirement, and I don't think we ask about age.
Council President, listen, I had the floor. You allowed Councilman Coyle to run amok like he did as president, and that's his prerogative. But I'd ask that you kind of keep him in line a little bit.
Yes, sir.
It is my right to ask as far as age. Yes, age definitely has something to do with planning and zoning, right? I mean, if you grew up in your mother's house and you're not taking care of taxes and you're not paying for stuff here, and you've been you might be 20 years old, your experience with building and everything else, you don't have those life experiences. So most definitely, it definitely plays a point in it. I do understand my council colleague. He appoints whoever he wanted. No one ever cared. And then we have problems where our public comes to us to overturn zoning board's decision. It should be handled in the zoning board. We shouldn't have to ever look at this. So, thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Coyle?
I have nothing.
Thank you. Councilman Patel?
I actually wanted to follow up on complete street ordinance to the BA. I requested complete street ordinance to be written up by the attorney. The attorney passed it to the engineering, and this was almost 2 months gone. I want to follow up. What's the status on that? Thank you.
To our BA, do we have an update at this moment?
Not at the moment, but I will tomorrow and email everybody.
Thank you. Any other items, Councilman Patel?
None, sir.
Councilman Patil?
Thank you, Council President. I have few of them. Through Council President, question to our BA. I sent an email on the Widmore Way, what emergency water repair, along with the pictures. And to me, the Middlesex Water Company did a terrible job. First thing they stuck the 11th hour notice, but that's understood because it was an emergency. But if you look at the way they paved or they patched the road, it's going to come out during the snow plowing. And again, that will further damage the water system and it will cause the inconvenience. So I would request the BA to send our engineering department to look at the situation.
I apologize. I did see your email and just acknowledging that, but I will follow up with you tomorrow regarding that.
Thank you. On that note, simple acknowledgement really won't work. We really need to act quickly on that. As long as it is sent to engineering and they would visit tomorrow or I get a report by Wednesday, it will be helpful. My second question is on the senior center. Thank you for the update. You said hopefully by next week work will be done. Do we have any process or protocol to send the notifications to the seniors? Because not all of them are watching this meeting and some of them may not even get an update that it's opening. So can we do some?
Having taken over temporarily the operations over in the health department, I have our senior coordinator over at the building who's been managing the Meals on Wheels and other programming that deals with the seniors. We have a contact list, so we'll make sure we get the word out once we officially know the date that it's going to open, along with some of those outside organizations that have been using our facility temporarily.
Thank you. The reason I'm asking is, some of them may not be taking some of those facilities, again, some of them may not be coming up their house or maybe taken some temporary situation. So if we can do that job, communication job would be helpful. My two questions that are coming up from last 2, 3, or I would say almost a year council meeting. The first one is the engineering project, the drainage project, Calvert and the Stephenville Parkway. Again, this is probably 3, 4 years I'm following up, knowing that the last year was more of the handover time for the new administration from the earlier one. I hope that this year this project will at least come to the fruition. So if you can please follow up on that.
Sure.
And the next one is the road paving. Do we have any update? I know, again, we are in the winter, I understand. Paving may not start, but some sort of a timeline. Are we done with the engineering side of the house, or either sidewalk work, or maybe ramp work, or something like some sort of an update to this council will be helpful.
Sure. I can briefly update you. So most of the concrete work has been completed. So, and the next step is to do the paving. So hopefully we're looking at sometime in March and the weather picks up and we'll be able to get on the road and have the plan to complete all of the streets that we've established.
Perfect. Thank you. And my last one is there is a situation, I was hoping that we'll have a police chief here, and thank you, Sergeant Ship, who visited the family upstairs, downstairs. But looks like the situation has not been resolved. I tried via emails. So my question is, do we have this fair rental community who can be part of this conversation so they can reach out to Middlesex Property Management, the owner of that apartment building, and probably intervene?
From what I understand, the last update that I received from Sergeant Ship and everyone else involved, there were communications between the two residents. It has become a civil matter, but I believe the management company is taking care of the repairs and some of that, including the flooring that was an issue. But the report that I received with that there was a successful conversation with the two residents.
Unless
something changed over the weekend.
It's changed, and you should have seen the email that triggered this morning around 11 o'clock. And the resident is really disappointed, and he's asking councilman to be part of that conversation. And as I said, this is something we have community policing. I think we should be able to intervene, use our reach to the builder and the the management company to speed up, because we can't wait for, this is going on for a year. Unfortunately, this was brought to my attention last week, and I'm trying to speed up the process. So anything we can help the taxpayer, the resident, would be appreciated. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Councilwoman Ship Freeman.
All right. Referring to the senior, some seniors have asked me that, are we going to have a meeting or something, because they did not like the way the system, the club system was set up at the senior citizen building on Woodbridge Avenue. That's it. It left out a lot of people who didn't have little small clubs in their neighborhood, and they wanted to be there to meet with, and they wanted to give some input into some of the things that they actually would like. They want, so they wanted to know if there was going to be a meeting or something like that. Also, talking about the veterans, instead of we saying thank you for your service, we need to get that project completed this year, because it's not that big of a project. We need to move along with that. And third, do we have any engineering report on the splash park?
Oh, the splash park right now, we're finishing up the redesign of the splash park and making sure that we should get it off the ground in the spring. The bidding is going out, so that's in the works.
Okay, all right, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ship Freeman. Council Vice President Harris.
Yes, I see that the response to the appeal on the Charlie Brown's decision was filed today, and I'm wondering what happens next, if I may ask the counselor here.
I suspect at this point that the judge will likely call for a case management conference. I'm speculating at this point to set out a truncated discovery schedule. So obviously there'll be review of the zoning board's decision. There'll be review of this body's decision. But I suspect that there'll be the possibility of limited discovery, at which point the judge will have a hearing and make an ultimate decision on his appeal. But at this point, all I can say is that the pleadings, the answers have been filed on behalf of the township, and we await instruction from the court.
Is there any possibility that those that they were questioning, so Councilman Brescher, they had questioned about his involvement in the not in the protest, but in the meetings. This is when it was 23 townhouses, and they were questioning me about me. Is there any possibility that we would be called to testify?
I doubt that. I will refrain, though, from going into any greater detail. Okay. Obviously, this is a litigated matter, which requires us all to go into a closed session, which we can happily do at any time, Council Vice President, if you so desire. But as far as witnesses and who will be called in the process, I would be happy to advise everyone in a closed session.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And for myself, for the residents of the Clara Barton area, on Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Clara Barton Library, the mayor will be hosting the question and answer forum. Again, to my colleagues, to please advise on the committees and boards that you are interested in. And if I can make a request for when the senior center is opened, if we can send out an initial alert, just to let everyone know, that would be appreciated. That's it for myself. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you, Council President.